Hey guys, how are y'all today? I hope everybody's doing well. Sonia, sorry you got here an hour early. I'm on Central Time. That's why I always put in the end of that little description which time zone we're in. Hopefully some people will start popping in and saying hi. I got no questions this week, so I'm not sure where y'all want to go with this. Hey Sandra, good to see you today. Um, Considering I am in full on video editing mode for Brother right now, and getting back ready for Brother Experience, I am not a lot of time to prepare things ahead of time. Hey Susan, hey Patty, hey Yvonne, good to see you on the West Coast. Hopefully y'all, I'm telling y'all, last week was miserably hot. This week is wonderful here in Tennessee. We have been in the 70s and 80s. That is super nice for us. Super, super nice in August. Can't complain. So luckily things have finally cooled down. Sherry, I'm sorry that it's hot down there in Florida, but yeah, we felt your pain last week. Actually, my electric bill was absolutely astronomical for last month. I think it's the highest one we've had since we've lived in this house. 100 there today in Colorado, Patty. Ooh, glad I can't say that I'm sorry I'm gonna not there, but I'll be in Austin next week, so I will feel your pain. It will be there. I think it's heat index is going to be 110. Looking forward to that. So looking forward to that. So pop in if you've got a question. Let me know. In the meantime, I'll chit chat and let you know what's going on with me. Anybody in the Baton Rouge area need a Knolting long arm quilting machine? We're trying to get some things out of my aunt's house that since she's passed away, we have a Knolting long arm quilting machine with a 12-foot table, whatever you want to call that thing. I'm not a long arm quilter, so I'm not real sure what that's called. The thing that the machine sets on. So if anybody's interested in something like that, I would encourage you to talk to me, message me, whatever you want to do. So Susan, we have talked about this before. Which program are you in? P Design? If you're in there, normally it adds it automatically. If not, I'll show you how to add one. Well, I mean, it does add one automatically for you when it goes to the machine. Having said that, you may want to do one a little bit more extensive. So let me share my screen. Evidently, I forgot to do that before I hit that. Let's share screen. Let's go entire screen, and let's go to screen number 2. Okay. So let me find my PE Design 11 over here. Okay. Well, welcome, Nancy. Glad you joined us. So let's see here. If you're doing text, this is the most common one that people want to do. So let's just say we did ABC as our text. Like I said, it's automatically going to add one. But if you want to add more of one than what it does, yes, you can do it to a pre-digitized design. And what I'm about to do is going to show you basically the same thing. So I'm going to move that to the center of my hoop here. And I'm going to make this to where it is a pre-digitized design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert it to stitches. Now, what you can do is come in and grab your select tool and grab your select point tool and click. Oh, what view am I in? I'm in Stitch View. That should give me, we want to go to here, and I want to go to the end. So I'm going to press Control End on, oh, that went all the way to the end. That's not what I want. So I'm going to see if I can use my Control key and find the last stitch in that section. That's the first. So where's it finishing off? I guess I should have looked at that before let's look. Let's get out of stitch mode. Hold on. Let me get out of the edit point mode and see where it's going to jump from. It looks like it jumps from right there. Okay. So we'll start right here. I'm going to grab my select tool and I'm going to click right here and use my control and my forward arrow key, the right arrow, till it gets me to the end of it. that was my last stitch right there. So now you can take that up and you can come in and you can basically create yourself a little star. And I do mean a little one. You don't want to make it a big thing. And there's us a little tile, four or five little stitches, and since there's already 3 there, and then tuck it back under. Okay. Now this is, when I hit that other end, this is where it's going to start. So if you want to add a tie in, you do the same kind of thing. Make yourself a little star. Doesn't have to be a perfect star. And move it, make it small because you don't want a big honking nodule underneath there. Grab it, select it, highlight it. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I want to highlight this way and tuck it, highlight it, get your cursor in one of those little squares and then tuck it inside there. Okay. So let's scroll over to the B and let's see if we get off of our stitch points and see what it looks like where it's jumping. It's jumping from right here. So that would be where we would want to tie it off. We've already added our tie on right here. So let's go to the select tool, select point, and we will hit that one. And we will use our arrow key to get to the last stitch. And there it is. So right there. So you can take that. And once again, just kind of add you a little star shape and smush them in. Then highlight them and move them and tuck them up under. And I would probably make those a little bit closer together. So the software itself automatically added 6 stitches straight in a row. And this would be where it starts on the other side, somewhere around there, one of those 2. Let's undo that. And come back over here and find where that's going to be. Control arrow. Okay, so that's my first stitch on that side over there. There it is. We can tuck that guy back down. This one's going to be under, so it's not as important as it be tiny as the other one, because it will be underneath the other pieces. But you got to get inside of one of those squares in order to take and move the whole thing back over. So let's find where it ends. I'm guessing it ends right here. And I would be correct. So make yourself a teeny tiny one here. Oh, wait. I didn't get the last stitch. So let's undo. Let's go here. Control that arrow. Find that's the very last stitch right there. All right. So now. And this one, I want all of them pretty close together. Okay. So, I mean, the only one I didn't do was the beginning over here on the A, and it starts sewing somewhere around here. So let's see, let's go home. If I do control home, it should take me to the first stitch, which is not over there, it's over here. So it must be this guy right there. We can tuck those other 2 back in. It's not much of a star, but it'll work. And then tuck it up underneath there. So you have now added tie-offs and tie-ins. And that's, I mean, this is acting as if it is a pre-digitized design. Does that answer your questions? If you were doing it with something with multiple colors, so if I came in, let's go to my import menu and let's pick something a little more complex. Let's go to design library and let's go to floral 2, floral 3. Okay, so let's see, say you needed something here. If you go and you go to your stitches tab and you would need to divide by color for this one. And then you can go in and hide any colors that you're not working with. So if I want to work with that green, I'm going to go in and I'm going to hide the other colors. So now I'm only working with this color green, and then select tool, select point tool, and grab it first of all and do Control Home. There's my first stitch for that one. Actually, I got a little excited there, so let's try that again. Control Home. That should be the first stitch. So let's zoom right in on it. Then you can take it and make you a little star pattern and slide it back in. So hopefully that answers your question, and this is what it would look like. See how it's tucked up underneath there? So if you want to go to the very end, I'm assuming it's going to end over here somewhere. Let's zoom out and see. I'm assuming it's going to end over here somewhere, but we could watch that stitch and see where it's going to end. So it's going to end right there. All right. So now come here, select point, and come and grab this and go Control End. That's my last stitch. I can then take it out and make myself a little star. And I'd probably tuck it back under. There you go. And that's how you hide it. Okay. All right. You're most welcome. Let's see here. Nope, you're not blind. It is actually, you are blind because it is in there. Look in your table of contents, Patty. Let's see if I have it on my computer here. Give me just a second, see if I have the table of contents on here or not. It may not be on this computer. Oh, but you know what? I know where it is. It is not on this computer, but it is on my website. So let's open a new web browser here. And we'll take it over here. And let's go to my website. And P Design Workbooks. Let's see here. What do we got? This one. And table of contents should be somewhere. Where is it? Oh, you know what? Let's see here. Workbook files. Usually, click on the words revised, table of contents. Oh, I'm not sharing the screen with you. Hold on. Huh. All right, so if you come here, let's just go to my downloads folder and we'll save it. And then we'll open that up. downloads, designs, printable files. Okay, so actually I guess I should show you this whole kit and caboodle. Hold on. Here's my design zip file. That's what I just downloaded. So if I go into printable files, table of contents, you should be, it's a searchable. If you've got a PDF viewer on your computer, you should be able to search it. So let me do find, Control F for find, and we'll do applique. Let's see here. Let's do the next section of it. Applique Wizard, Patty, page 742 to 751. That would be that's the one for the major section. If you're wanting to do the applique wizard for text, is applique lettering 219 to 231. You cannot do that besides, Susan, the only way to make that happen is if the designs are less than 5 millimeters apart, where they end stitching and begin stitching. So, oops, let me just hit new. For instance, if I come in here and I do this, and then I come in here and I do this, all right. There is no way to take those points. So if I do Control and I do my Alt key and I try to connect it to someplace else, there's no way to do that. What has to happen is, let's look at the stitch view. And let's change the color first of all, because I can't tell anything with yellow. Let's make it red. Okay. So the key is where one ends and the other begins, it needs to be less than 5 millimeters. So as long as my length there is less than 5 millimeters, it will automatically run. It will not cut out. If you're talking about doing something for red work, and you stop stitching, so let's say we made this why is yellow my default color today? Let's make that a running stitch, and we'll come in here with another line. Now these two, if I select point and I click this Alt key, I can connect. And if I want to connect this to over here, I can connect. Running stitch designs, I can. If they are, if they're fill stitches, I mean, you can't. So if it's block punch, you cannot make them. It's going to automatically cut it. So, I mean, I could technically put in a feed stitch here, which is this, which runs to the next section. But if it's still going to go and trim. So see how that's automatic? That's automatically a trim there. Even though they're grouped together and I ran them at the same time, it's automatically going to trim. That did not make a stitch. What you can do, instead of doing a feed, you can do a run stitch to travel from one place to another. So you come up and grab your running stitch tool and then start your block tool again. Now, even though it shows as a separate segment, those actually will run as one unit because there's nothing breaking them apart. Where it ended is where it begins, so it should not add a trim there. Okay. I'm trying to think if there's any other instances that okay, if you're doing, let's say you're doing two shapes and you wanted them connected. Let's go here and let's arrange copy, and we'll do a mirror copy here. And that's going to be more than 5 millimeters apart. If I grab my measuring tool, that is more than 5 millimeters apart, right? So what I can do is I can come in and grab a line tool, and usually I will make it a different color for right now just so that I can see it. And I will start it where one finished and stop it where the other one starts, and then move it up in between them. So then you can change it to the same color. Let's make sure the start stops are where they need to be. It's going to start and it's going to stop here. And then that one starts here. So in that case, it's showing me that that one's starting further in. So I would take it and move it to where that one's starting. So let's see here. If we go back and hit that again, line 1, line 2, let's see what this one is. Yep, they end right there. So you should be good to go. That should run the way you want it without a trim. The key is making the distance from one to the other where one stops and the other one starts being less than 5 millimeters. And that's what we just did. Okay. Questions on that one? Did that answer your question, Susan? Hopefully it did. All right, guys. Let's see here. I'm looking here and seeing what you got. I honestly don't know, Yvonne. That's one to take to your dealer. That should not be occurring unless you touch the screen. It should continue going. If you touch the screen by accident, even if the fabric touches it, it will tell the machine to stop sewing because it thinks you want to do something. That is the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, I think you need to take it into your dealer. You may need your hoop sensor adjusted, but that's a guess on my part. Okay. You're welcome, Susan. Glad it helped. All right, guys. Yeah, Patty said the same thing I did. If you accidentally touch the screen, it will stop stitching. If you accidentally, it doesn't even have to be you. It can be fabric, and it will stop stitching. So, but if that's not the case, then take it into your dealer. It could be that your hoop sensor is just not, your latch is not staying latched well enough, that your sensor is messing up. Who knows? Yeah, the gremlins. Okay, guys. Other questions? I'm awaiting. No. Let's see. I do have my phone up here. Let me think. Let me see if I have anything in Art Spira that we haven't done lately. I'm looking to see if we haven't any hints on BES silver. Well, it depends on what you want to do, Deborah. I've got silver up here. I mean, the basics are you start with your text tool, and you have all of these text tools that you can use, but let's go with normal text for today. And you type in your text and you press enter. Oops, not enter. You click away from it, or you click apply. Enter is P design. This one is you click away from it. If you want to make it bigger, this little arrow makes it bigger proportionally, or you can go over here in the height. Those are your options. This is a test this is a alpha mapped font that I did, so that's not a good one to start with. If you want to see your fonts and see what a preview of them looks like, you use the arrow keys, up and down arrow keys on your keyboard, and it'll let you see what they are. When you click on one, click apply, it will automatically apply. Now, if it has an O in front of it, that means there are outlines. Multicolored names is super easy. There's two ways that you can do it. So if it has an O in front of it, though, that means it has different styles. So it's an outline font which has different styles. So you can do a standard, which is your normal satin stitch. You can do a run. You can do a single run or a bean stitch. Excuse me, a single, a double, or a motif. If you choose motif, you have about 200 motifs that you can come in and play with and find and apply one. And those can be size. So if you don't want it to be that big of a pattern, change the motif size and click apply. All right. Now, if I come back and change this back to steel, that's going to be a satin stitch all the way around the outside edge. And your text is automatically going to be made larger because it knows it needs to do that. Applique is also an option, and it will turn this into applique steps. The applique steps are a center run, just so we're clear on that. The applique portion of it is towards the inside. So if you don't want your cut piece to be too small, you want to go down here where it says, where is it? Inset percentage. All right, tack down offset, placement offset. Which one is it that I want? I think it's this one. Let's look and see. We'll change that to 1 and see what happens. No, that's not the one I want. Undo. I want the yellow letter. So I'm looking here. Oh, inset percentage. Let's go with 85%. If I'm using a cutting machine, I want that inset percentage way out there. And then I'll put my, where's this other one? Tack down offset. I want it to grab it, so I'll put it to positive 5.5. 6. We'll try 0.6. Wait a minute. That's not what I want to do. So let's come back in here and make this 75. Yeah. But that inset percentage will bump your cut line, which is this right here, out to the outside edge. And then this right here, that tack down offset, that's going to make sure that it catches the actual stitching. And by doing that, I messed my applique up. So let's see if we can make this. Let's make that 60%. There we go. That should take care of us. It's a matter of getting this right here to the outside edge and this right here inside it. Okay. Now, if I grab this and delete, oh, actually, let's not do that. If you want multicolored text, let's go change this back to a regular font. We'll go back to standard and apply. If I want multicolored text, let's change our spacing. Wow, that went crazy. Let's just start again. There we go. Multicolored text. You see this little button right here? That is your multicolored text icon. Click that little button and then click apply. It puts a tilde between each letter. And each letter turns into a different color. Now, if I want to do something a little different, the thread painter is a really cool thing. So I'm going to hit my select tool and I'm going to grab the thread painter. And the thread painter lets you choose different themes. So you can choose, let's see here, mountainscape. You can choose rainbows. You can choose rainbow. That was rainbows blended. We can choose rainbows. And you can play around with how much of each color you get. I never save over. So when I say, okay, it says rainbows has changed. Do I want to change it? No, I don't want to change it. If you want to save it, just do cancel and do, basically do a save as. So you can do save, and you can save the theme as rainbows adjusted. But I don't want to do that. We'll just say okay, and we're not going to override it. There you go. So now you have multicolored lettering in a different way. Okay. All right, let's see here. Deborah, I am not sure. BES4 is so close to it, and I wrote an entire manual on that. I haven't decided. My workload and family life have been crazy, and that takes a lot of work on the road that I haven't had. So I'm not sure. I'm waffling on it. Yes, you can do that in BES Silver. Hold on, Sonia. So here we go. If I am add design, let's say we've got two designs here. If you select one, your control and the arrow keys are what nudge. You have to add your control key in, but that will nudge for you. That's pretty much standard on most artwork programs. PE design is a little different than others. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, Sherry, you're best off with embroidery sublimation using white thread. You will get your most vibrant results if you use white polyester thread. That's going to give you the most vivid results. Otherwise, you're dulling the color that's in the actual sublimation itself. Okay. Let's see here. Well, it depends. You have total control if you're in PE Design 11. You control where things start, where things stop, how the layers work, when something starts stitching, when it ends stitching, what order it's going to stitch in. In my design center, you don't have that control. When you put it in there, usually it's going to sew from the top to the bottom. So like if you're trying to do an in the hoop project and you want this to be step one, you got to take step one and take it over to your embroidery screen and then come back and add. And then you do step two and take it over to your embroidery screen, move it where you want it to be, and then come back into my design center and add. So it really depends on what your process is. If you're trying to do something simple, then my design center is great. If I don't want to go into software, just want to add a decorative fill, I'll use the stamp tool and punch it through my design center because I like totally connected lines, and I can get a single run on my design center with totally connected lines in my design center. I cannot do that in P design. If I turn off, so let me kind of explain let me show you what I'm talking about. So if I come back into P design and I come in here and I grab a design and I do a background fill, and let's say we're going to do a decorative fill, we're going to go around this design and we'll say next. Do you see this little button called minimize feed? When I turn that on and update it, you'll notice that it adds a line going around the outside edge. Now, I usually increase my offset. We'll update that preview to where I have a little space between it. All right. In my design center, if I have that on, I can still get a single run of my decorative fill versus a triple. This decorative fill will have a triple stitch on it. That's just the nature of the beast. When it's connected in P Design, it is going to have a triple stitch on it in order for it to maintain its connection. And that one was digitized poorly, might I say. Let's go pick a different one. Let's say we want this one. We'll go play it. So it's going to do a triple stitch regardless. And the interior, I didn't exclude the interior parts. It has to jump on that regardless. That's just the nature of the beast. If I had taken that little cutout out, no problem. So let's take that little cutout out. We'll select it. I'll move my cursor in and press delete. Now I've got a totally connected one. However, if I turn off that minimize feed button, it is going to jump at every connection spot. So let's hide the flower. And let's hide that little outline. Oh, nope, I don't want to do that. Unhide. We can hide it this way. Hide objects not stitched. Didn't hide it there. So let's do this. I want you to see how it jumps. So it's going to trim usually it will trim depending on what stitch you have selected. It will usually trim. Evidently I picked one that it's not going to trim, but at some point it will usually trim on you and you can't get rid of that. So this one will do its best to do a single stitch, but in my design center it will do that for you with that little outline on. So let's see here. Let's pick a different one. Let's pick one that's more than likely not going to play nice with us in the sandbox. So look, do you see all these jump stitches? I don't want those. In my design center, I can get that to not happen. In here, I can't. If I want a single stitch, which is take the minimize feed off, that's the only way I can get a single stitch. I have to turn that minimize feed on to stop the jumps. And in my design center, I do not have to do that. Okay. That is one of the main reasons that I do that. An applique project, depending on what kind of stitch you want and whether you have my connection on your machine, would depend on whether I would do that there or in P Design. I will sit here and tell you it will be easier in P Design, just simply because of the steps that you're going to try to create. There is, if you have my connection enabled on your Luminaire or your Stellaire or your Avenir, there is a button called Applique Patch for selected colors, and you could go in and do that, but you will not be able to remove overlaps on the sections. So for instance, let's see here. Let's just hit new page here. What did I do? I hit the wrong button there. Let's see here. Let's go import just a piece of artwork. So let's go to Align Shapes. And let me find something with an overlap. All right, so this guy right here is going to have overlaps. So where all of those pieces come together, those are going to be overlaps. Let's hit the applique wizard and we will choose replace. You choose what type of stitch you want it to be. We're going to go with the zigzag because that's when you most likely want to remove your overlaps. Now we can ungroup the whole kit and caboodle. And that's the first thing you need to do. So now let's look at what we've got. And let's bring this back up so we can see what we started with. What ones do you want the overlaps removed on? Well, it depends on what you think is going to be the back. I would say this one right here would be my back. So I would go to my select point tool. And let's see here what we got. Yep, that's a whole thing there. I'm going to undo that. We would right mouse click here and say split at point. And then I would add another point right here. And I would split it at point, and then I would delete that little section. And that gets rid of it. Now, obviously I deleted too much there, but you get the idea. That gives you that layering and and a way to do it. Nancy, if you have the 1055 does not have the My Connection feature. It did not get that. The Avenir, you have to have a scan and cut SDX 325 or 330D. With those machines came a code called My Connection that enables you to talk to talk to each other wirelessly instead of via a USB stick. They can talk wirelessly. As a result, a magical button was released on your machine called Applique Patch for Selected Colors, and that's what got released there. If you're in the group, the Education Connection, there are videos in the group. In the guides, and I just posted a link to what it is. The group is a Facebook group, but that is in the guides. There are multiple videos on My Connection that show you how it works and why you might want to use it. There's also videos in those guides, guys, if you don't realize it, on edge-to-edge quilting. There's quite a few different videos in there for you to watch and consume. What I will tell you, if you are not a member of that group and you want to join, please be sure to answer the questions and agree to the terms. If you do that, then you will be automatically entered to play. If not, then you're going to sit there waiting on me to get time to go in and tell you that, hey, you didn't answer the questions, you didn't agree to play nice in the sandbox. Please do those, and we'll be happy to invite you back. You can come join, ask to join again. But you got to answer those questions. I don't think that's too much to ask. Basically, it's you agreeing to our terms and to play nice in the sandbox. We don't want people. I don't want drama. I don't have time for drama, so I don't suffer drama, and I take drama out. It's also, I don't want a lot of advertising on a site that I'm managing. So it's not for people to it's not for advertising to sell your stuff. Oh, you would, yeah, silver would be nice. Leanne, if you're coming to the quilt festival this year, I bet I know somebody that'll sell it to you. September, October, November. Can we do another challenge in the Facebook group? Maybe November, Patty. My September and October, would you like to see my calendar? I'll share my calendar with you for my next month. This is it. My September, October time frames are crazy. So this is August, this is September, this is October. So there's not a lot of time in between. So, but yes, I will try to come up with a challenge, and if people are I like the idea. If people are up to it, we will do another challenge. I don't remember what we did the last time. It's been a while. My brain has just not been on that, guys. I've had 4 deaths in my family in the last 2 years. That's an awful lot to try to process, and my brain just hasn't been there. It's all, it's all you can do to kind of keep everyday life going. And so I'll be honest, that has not even entered my brain. I've been trying to still figure out how to get a Facebook Live in there from StreamYard, because that's where I store things, and that's the easiest way for me to connect all my equipment. and doing it just Facebook itself is not that user friendly of an experience. So I'm trying to figure out. I may do it through YouTube and have it a private link and then just post it in the group. That may be the easiest way to do it. But I'd also like to know what you would like a Facebook Live on. Just give me some ideas. Give me some topics. Anything. I'm game for. Y'all know what equipment I have in here. I have a PR1X. I have a PR1055. I have an Avenir. I have a Luminaire. We've got every scan and cut they ever made. I have a PQ1500 that I have had forever. I have let's see here. What is that? The Surger. I have a heat press. We have a little bit of everything in this. So, and I do have a PRS 100 that's down in the other room. So, just give me some ideas, because my creative brain has not had time to catch back up. It's you gotta be in a creative space sometimes to come up with something. And if somebody gives you a suggestion, sometimes that pops out. Thanks, Deborah. It's been a rough couple of years. I'm not gonna lie. It's not been the last couple of years have not been kind to my family. My nuclear family is gone. So, anyhow, let's get on to a different topic. Like I said, it's just you got to live, and you got to move on, and you have to try to figure it. So if you have ideas, I'm more than welcome to entertain those. I just don't have the creativity right now to come up with something off the top of my head on that. I'll be perfectly honest. I just don't have it there. So anyhow, if you guys don't have any more questions for me, then I think I am going to call it a day today. Let me see here. I'm looking to see if I missed any. I haven't missed any. So, yeah, okay. So we have done how to do fills in a couple of videos before. Go back and look at those. I will be happy to do it again. But I have done that. Well, I did a lot of those last year, I believe. Was it last year or the year before? Gosh, I don't even remember. There are probably 4 or 5 of them out there already. So if you don't want to wait on me to do that, because it will be, let me look at my calendar and see when I'm back in town. Brother experience. Tuesday is probably next Tuesday is not happening. I am in Austin. The Tuesday after that is probably not happening because the gutters on my house are getting replaced. So I am pretty sure that is not going to be conducive to us having a Facebook Live. Then the Tuesday, so the 26th would be the next date I would be here, and I could do another Phil's class then. But in the meantime, go check out some of the videos. They're on YouTube on my channel. The Education Connection is a Facebook group. And it's really a very helpful group, I will say. Everybody is nice. They play in the sandbox well. There's not a lot of advertising for other people. I am not promoting dealers. I'm not, I promote where I'm going. If I think about it, y'all know me. I'm not good at promoting anything. It's, I write books for things, and I do create decorative fills to sell, but I'm the world's worst at telling you all what's on sale this week. Susan, you don't want me to dive into that activity. It is, I will lose every person on this live. It is not, it's not for the faint of heart, and there's not a wizard that will do it for us. I would love to tell you we do have something that will do that for us, that will do it automatically, but no, we don't have that. And it is way more in depth than most people want to deal with, because you have to lay a layer of lay down stitches, and you've got to put your coverings. You've got to make sure everything's totally connected. It is not for the faint of heart. And There's not a real good way around that. You can do faux with the net zigzag fill and the net fills, because they do connect and they do overlap, but you need to have a tulle or something underneath them, something, a sheer fabric tulle or organza underneath them, just to give them something to hold on to. I made that mistake when that first came out. I thought, oh great, they gave me a way to make lace. Not so much. So I mean, there are ways of doing it. It's just not for the faint of heart. Okay, yeah. And Leanne, exactly. Thanks. And Leanne and I digitize all the time, and we're like, yeah, no. I mean, it is not something. I don't like it enough to want to do it. To want to dive deep into it to find an easier way to do it. I just haven't found it. So, um, the group is called The Education Connection, Gracie. There is. I'm putting it in the chat again. But yeah, the hours that you will spend creating a piece of lace or you can go buy a piece. There's a piece of software out there that's called the Lace Maker. It's not a brother product. Disclaimer there, and I'm not advertising them for them, but there's product out there that does it. So if that's really your thing, you might want to go do that, because every program has something that it does great. That is not one that I would want to tackle. I mean, yeah, I can do it, but no, it's not one that I would want to tackle. It's just not, it's not worth the effort. So, and I will lose 3/4 of the people viewing that day. It's just too technical. So, you love to stitch them out, but you don't like to digitize them. Okay. I don't even like to stitch them out. They just take too much time. What I will say is the crocheted lace patterns. Now that's one I may work with you all on. The crocheted lace patterns are freestanding and they're not really lace. Those are pretty cool. I'll look into that. We'll think on those, and I'm pretty sure I know how to make them. But once again, it's got to be totally interconnected and everything has to be touching in order for this to work. But those, if you all haven't seen the Avenir or the Stellaire stitch those out, those are some cool designs. I will say those are, if you're into lace doilies, those are really cool designs. Let me see if hold on. Let me see if I've got a section. Okay, so like this is the heart. That's doable. I could live with something like that. But it's got to be it's got to be something that you're willing to spend your time on, because y'all, that one has a ton of stitches just by itself. This one I don't know that I'm that inclined to do. But I mean, when you come out with them, so like this, I put these together. I'm using the border feature on my machine. I attached them and popped them over. But yeah, it really depends on where you want to spend your time. So, all right, guys. If there are no other questions, so you love. Okay, OESD does a great job with it. Let go, Bob. Linda, it's rare that I'm in Knoxville, and they haven't. Actually, I will be in the Knoxville area in the fall. Hold on, let me look at my calendar. I'll be at Becky's Sewing Center September the 19th and 20th. I'm not sure. I don't remember what I'm doing there. Probably an Avenir event. Hold on a second and I'll look and see if I can figure out what I'm doing there. Give me 2 secs. Good. It logged me right in. Boom, boom. It's the Brother Bash, so I'm honestly not sure what I'm doing there yet. I've got to talk to Becky. I haven't spoken to her yet. So um, you'll have to talk to your dealer. They got a request. So I don't just book off the cuff, and I'm not gonna push my way in someplace. So yeah, I'm not gonna sit and rest this year. It's not gonna happen until December. So and I think we're gonna take some personal time in December. So all right, guys. If there is nothing else for the day, I will see you all later. Where else? I'll let you know where I'm going to be. Hold on, since I said I'm terrible at this. If you're in the Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Louisiana area, I will be there on the 22nd and 23rd of August. So that's right after Brother Experience. If you're in the Madison area, I will be at the Madison Quilt Show on the 4th, 5th, and 6th of September. And Becky's Sewing Center, the 19th and 20th of September. Heidi's Sewing, their event is in Cape Girardeau this year, and we'll be there the 3rd and 4th of October. I'll be at Houston Quilt Festival the entire time. Then I get to babysit my great, what is it? Okay, yeah, my great nephew. I had to think of it. And then I will be I just got an assignment today for Novi, Michigan. So for the OSQE show in Novi, I'll be there 6th, 7th, and 8th of November. And that is what I have on my schedule for now. So, and that is north, Deborah. That's about as north as I get. So, all right, you guys. Y'all have a great rest of your week, and I will talk to you in about 2 weeks. Okay? Bye-bye.